Coming to you live from Bergen County, New Jersey and San Francisco, California. The best part of Wednesdays, it's Waffle Box with your hosts, Mike Fish and Kush'S. Welcome to Waffle Box, the podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing all at the same time. Coming up on episode 38, we're talking real life snakes on a plane, null and void baptisms, Uncharted movie review, and so much more. I am Mike Fish, and I am joined, as always, by the main man, not from Amsterdam, but he'd like to visit again. It's Mr. Kush'S. Kush, how you doing, buddy?
What's good, y'all? Mike, I'm sorry we gotta start the show off like this. One, let's welcome all the new subscribers and the new followers on Twitter and the YouTube. We're happy to have you here. We don't start the show off like this every episode, but today I have some bad news. We lost someone in the a former living legend in the martial arts community. Mr. Leo Fong passed away on Friday at the age of 93. For those not 100% familiar with him, but maybe think they heard that name, he's the star of Len Kabaczynski's Pact of Vengeance. He was 93 years old. He'd hell of a life, man. He's all the way from Jingman, Canton. He spent most of his days in San Francisco and Oakland. He was living in Burbank last time I met him, but he was a writer, he's an actor, he's a director. He did movies such as Blood Street, Low Blow, Showdown, but he was also a championship boxer, and he was a grandmaster in Wei Kuen Do, which I totally probably just botched, but I had a pleasure interacting with him. It was a pleasure working with him, and the world is worse off without him now. So I just want to, if everyone out there got a beverage in hand, doesn't matter if it's something hard, if it's just a cup of coffee or some water, I want you all to raise your glass to Mr. Leo Fong. He was a great dude. Just happy to have met him.
Cheers. Well, I have something slightly less intense to start off with. Now I kind of feel bad about what I'm going to complain about. But so obviously last week we got an extra day. Congratulations to all the presidents for getting their own day, because why not? But I had to pop into Target, right? I'm sure everyone in the US is familiar with Target. They're a mum and pop. They're up and coming. I think they've got a future. But so I grabbed a trolley, right? Or what do you call them? Do you call them trolley carts?
Oh, shopping cart.
Shopping carts, shopping trolleys. And as I'm walking around, I noticed the one I have has cup holders, right? And
yeah, those are standard now.
Right. So, and surrounding the cup holder was a warning that said contents may be hot. Right.
Okay.
Now this isn't a new thing, obviously, but as we say, everyone, coffee cups and all that stuff, they all have that warning on there. And as we say, the warning has to be there because at some point it wasn't there and someone complained, and so they had to put the thing there. But I just feel this takes like humanity down an extra notch in that for that cup holder to be full, like these shopping carts don't come as standard with a coffee in it. Some human being had to have gone to a coffee place, not going to mention any brand names until they sponsor us, but they've gone to a coffee place, requested a hot caffeinated beverage, purchased it, took that hot caffeinated beverage, put it in their shopping cart, and then moved around and maybe bumped into something, and then that hot caffeinated beverage burnt them. And they complained to the shopping place that, there was no warning. But my God, like I thought humanity was dumbing down.
No.
But
still dumbing down.
Level is incredible.
It gets worse. Here, I'm gonna make your hypothetical a little more extreme. I doubt we're ever gonna get sponsored by Starbucks, but if your target is like my target, they have Starbucks. So the person X bought a cup of Starbucks at the Target, and then strolled their child around, who then kicked the cup, or they accidentally bumped into another thing, and hot coffee spilled all over this baby's leg, and things got even worse. That's my hypothesis that I'm adding to that. And
You always have to take it to another level.
They had to mold that warning into the plastic. Like, it's not a sticker, right? It's molded into the plastic, right? You cannot miss this warning. Like, there's no excuse that you can't get peeled off. It can only be scraped off. And then even then, someone in security is going like, "Sir, would you please stop scraping that warning off? We're trying to keep babies from dying."
Yeah. Well, I get. So I'm always one of these people, annoying people that has to play devil's advocate. So I'm always kind of like, well, that might seem stupid, but I can at least see where that came from, sort of. You know what I mean? And so at least with the cups, I somewhat get it, because you know, someone's handed it to you, and then you're, oh, I didn't know it was that hot. But you had to personally transfer that from one place to the shopping cart. You knew it was hot.
Yeah. If it makes you feel better, I've picked up 2 bottles of Coke from my Target that both had the scent of mildew on them. Like, you're going like, oh my God. No, that has either been somewhere, or for whatever reason, someone just scraped it in mildew, because it smells like a damp basement. And I'm like, oh no, we're not putting that in our mouth. No, sir.
What, did they have a warning on it? Contents may get you sick.
I was in the movie both times. The most recent time, I just threw the fucking bottle away. I was like, I don't have time for this shit. I will just go through this without a Coke. The first time though, I saw Black Widow. Totally a bummer. It made that movie an extra bummer, but I couldn't return it that night because Targets are so prone to crime. They're just like, we close at 6 now. Crime stops at 6 o'clock. So I had to go back the next day and like, hey man, here's my receipt. Here's the bottle. I picked it out of that cooler. I don't even want a refund. I just want you to clean the fucking cooler, okay, and deal with that. That's your evidence now. I'm not missing the $2, but take care of that shit, would you? And I guess they didn't. Those incidents are months apart, but that's twice now. Target. Twice.
Welcome to Waffle Box, everyone, where we're just killing potential sponsors one by one.
Target's never
going to sponsor us. Let's kick into here. Let's talk about our first highlighted story. Speaking of the movies,
docket, Mac.
First thing on the docket is everyone's familiar with the famous Ludacris movie, not starring Ludacris, but starring Samuel Jackson, where he proclaims that he's actually, what's the wording? I'm sick of these motherfucking snakes.
I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
Absolute hot garbage, that movie, but very entertaining at the same time. It was so bad, it was great. But it's ridiculous.
It had the best marketing of any movie.
Oh, it's incredible. But a ridiculous premise that this commercial airline suddenly gets overrun by all of these snakes and they have to survive. What a ridiculous concept. That's what I thought, at least. But apparently, this may be, I'm not saying it was based on a true story, but it's happened in a real thing. So recently on an Air Asia flight, which was coming from Malaysian capital Kuala Lumpur, had to get redirected because someone on the plane was just minding their own business, looking up and saw in like the light fixture, fucking snake going about its business.
That's fucked up.
I would like, that is just that. I wouldn't. What would you do? How would you react to that? Like, because it's not like you can run away.
Well, the first thing I'd do is I'd hit that little button. I go, bing.
Oh no, I'd be scared to in case it angers the snake.
That is absolutely a possibility. That's definitely a probability too. So yeah, you might have to just get up and like just keep one eye on the silhouette and hope you don't like bump into the stewardess, but like, hey, this is it was only one snake, right? Or was it more?
There was one snake.
It was just the one snake. That's fortunate, man. Like,
but yeah, you'd have to get it because you couldn't. It's not like you could even like wait for it or go psst, psst, because then the snake might think you're talking to it. So like,
no.
But apparently, so the airline did say that this is a very rare occurrence, but it can happen from time to time, which doesn't give me much confidence. And now I'm scared that it's going to happen on my next flight.
So how does this happen, Mike? Is someone checked their pet snake on board, and because baggage carriers are shit everywhere, that thing broke out of its cage or container or whatever and just ended up in the electrical system? Or B, was it literally just on the airstrip,
just crawled its way up there,
just crawled its way up the landing gear?
That's what I'm gonna guess, because it gets worse. So there's the story cited some other examples of when this happened. So one, there was an occasion where a pilot had to conduct an emergency landing after finding a snake in the cockpit, which I don't want my pilot scared. But even worse, if you're what's the word? If you're queasy, if you're like, is that the right word?
You have a fear of snakes.
If you have a fear of snakes. Oh, fast forward this bit.
Just a fucking fear of snakes. God,
so in 2019, a woman traveling home from Australia, which gives you a clue there, encountered a nasty surprise when she went to unpack after she got home and found a snake curled up in her luggage.
No. So wait, so she came from Australia or she went to Australia?
She came back from Australia. She was traveling back from home to Scotland.
Ooh.
Not many snakes in Scotland. I bet that snake woke up and was like, where am I? This is so cold.
So cold.
Yeah, what the?
And everyone speaks funny around here too. What the hell? Dude, so this snakes on a plane story is terrifying, but I'm gonna raise it. I don't have a citation in front of me. I saw this on one of those news magazine shows of like top 10 scariest things that could ever happen to you. I'm sure it's on YouTube or a similar story on YouTube or a different version of the same stories on YouTube. But family bought a house out in the middle of nowhere. They had it appraised and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the appraiser missed one very important thing. And one night, the youngest child was taking a bath, and all of a sudden the water stopped and snakes just started pouring out of the faucet. And they were living on a nest of snakes that was not happy with the new occupants standing above them.
I literally shivered.
They left immediately.
Yeah, I'd burn that house down.
Burn the fucking house down, right?
Claim the insurance. It was an accident.
I think you could just tell the insurance company there were snakes and like, did you burn the house down? Okay, here's 50 grand or whatever the property was worth. But yeah.
Did you burn it down intentionally? Yes. Why? Because there was a fuck ton of snakes coming through the bathtub. Oh, that's fair enough. I would have done the same thing.
No. I've also heard of snakes popping up out of a toilet. I think that's our worst fear.
Yeah. No, I told you. Remember I told you a story about how I found something crawling on me when I was in the toilet?
Remind us for the new subscribers.
So I'm just sitting there, minding my own business, doing my business. And then I just feel something tickling my back. And I get up, and it was only a small spider. But when I look back and you saw something moving and crawling on me, I was in the right place because I'd shit myself again. Wasn't a pretty picture.
Oh my goodness.
But luckily, like I say, I was in the right place.
Okay. I'm glad
anyway,
you're in the right place.
Let's move on from creepy crawlies because that's a horrible way to start the show. Next, so what is, other than snakes coming out the toilet and biting you on your buttocks while you're taking a poop, biggest fear is obviously, your home security.
Spiders descending while you're masturbating.
Yes.
No.
What, from the shaft? Like
from No, it's just hanging from the ceiling onto your shaft. Like,
How old would you be when you ejaculate spiders? There
no,
must be a horror porn that does that or something.
no.
But oh god, I'm sorry if there are new listeners this week. I do apologize. Yes, so no, big fears. Everyone feels home, feels safe at home, right? That is your little corner of
You
the
should.
world. And the worst fear that gives you anxiety is if you were to come home and your house had been broken into. Oh my God, I feel so defiled. I feel so vulnerable. I found one step further than that, my friends listening. Imagine if you was to return one day and your entire fucking house had gone. Like literally the whole thing vanished. That has happened, my friends, in the wonderful state of Michigan. So it was a lake house, which the Michigan State Police have reported missing. It's a 12 by 28 foot cabin, so it's obviously not, maybe it's not a house, but still, it's a decent sized cabin. You know, maybe like a vacation home where they go to when they go do some fishing. I don't know, but yeah, vanished, completely gone. And I don't even know where you'd start with that, because do you take fingerprints from what? It's all gone. So
I think I would do 2 extra laps around the block. Just to, I mean, again, my name is Kush'S, so I forget things every now and then. Like, did I make a left when I was supposed to make a right? Let's retrace our steps, and then I'm like, fuck, that house is missing.
All I can imagine is
all right.
Imagine that story. Like, imagine how that conversation had to go. Because you thinking
that call to the cops. How do you like? So yeah, I like to report a theft. Someone stole my home. Someone broke into your home and stole something. No, someone stole the home.
Yeah. What's your address? It doesn't matter because it's not there anymore. It's look for the house not there in between 2 other houses.
It was 123 Fake Street, but I guess look for 125 Fake Street, and then it's the empty lot next to that.
Who know what the address is now, unless they might put it down somewhere else. Why could you imagine? Like, so let's just say, like, many situations could have happened there. So, like, imagine like a bloke gone with his boys for the weekend, and he gets back, and his wife's like, "Did you lock up the cabin before you left?" Don't worry, I made sure nothing's going to go wrong. And then next weekend, where the fuck is it? What did you do? Right? Would you just lie? I lost it. I lost it in a poker game.
I mean, there's, I mean, unless it's a trailer, just a double wide trailer, like there's a foundation to the house. You know, there's in theory a basement. There's a septic tank. Like there's gonna be a big hole where that house was. Not just the empty lot itself, but like, you know, a tomb, if you will. Wow. What was it, a trailer, Mike?
Or no, it was I don't think it had a basement.
A cabin.
It was a full cabin. I put a picture actually on our Twitter page at Waffle Box Pod. So it's
Sam Raimi's Evil Dead taught me anything, every cabin has a basement. But we're all right. Okay.
Speaking of interesting things stolen, though, I actually overheard a story of a young man who was in a relationship with a young lady. They were living together, but then unfortunately it didn't work out, and they decided to part ways, or I guess she did. She decided to get out. And so I guess he gave her enough space that you go back, you can get your stuff, move out. And then when he returned, not only had she taken all of her stuff, she took the Wi-Fi. Like, she took all the wiring out, she took the router, she took everything. So he had I don't know what she was going to do with it, because it's not like you can just plug it and play. You have to sign up for things like that. But that's spiteful, that is.
That's the new spiteful. That's the new Ice Cube trays. There's that line in True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger where Tom Arnold's like, "What kind of cold bitch steals the Ice Cube trays? She took everything." This exceeds that, because again, you just said she pulled up all the wiring, took the routers. Like, yeah.
When you were talking about
Yeah.
the ice cube trail, I was like wondering if there was some kind of sick, like, what does she do to the ice? Now,
No, she took the ice cube. You cannot make ice anymore, sir. I am taking the ability of you creating ice away from you.
see, I was thinking worse things. I thought she'd like
you're
tampered with the
perfect.
ice. Now, if ever I break up, first thing I want to do is dump out the ice, clean the ice trays, make sure there's nothing foul in there. That's where my brain goes.
That's where your brain goes.
That's where my brain goes.
But your water supply is inhabited with cocaine too. So I mean, this thing clearly has affected your mind.
Welcome to New York, New Jersey, baby. Where
We'll
even
all the time
if you're
in the
drinking
UK, but still
tap water, it's a party. Right. Still to come on this episode of Waffle Box, we are talking about the null and void baptisms that happened recently. We're talking Uncharted, new Tom Holland movie, and then obviously we've got our feel-good moment of the week. But we'll be right back after this short break. Hey, you. Yes, you. Was you thinking of having that beer? But my friend, it's only 10 a.m. Won't everyone judge you for drinking this early? Well, don't worry, we've got just the thing to help you. Your very own Waffle Box mug. And now, everyone will just think you're drinking coffee, so you can enjoy your morning beer judgment-free. Go to wafflemerch.com to get yours today. And we are back. Now, let's move on. Whoop, whoop. That was so much fun. We are back, baby. So, baptisms. Now, I'm not one to say that I'm a man of faith, a religious man, but I do believe I was baptized. It's something I know what some people believe. Now, I'm not getting into this kind of level of information just to kind of sounds like I'm talking shit about anything. I'm not. I'm just wanting to clarify the seriousness of the situation at hand here, man. Because I do believe some people, some parts of the Christian faith or the Catholic faith, I'm not 100% sure, do believe that if you're not baptized, right, that means no matter what, you ain't getting in at the end, right? You're going to get shut down at the gates by the bouncer. You ain't getting heaven.
Right.
No shot. So obviously, some people take the baptism extremely serious. Now, so a Catholic priest in Arizona,
Catholic priest,
made a very slight mishap, apparently, in the wording of how he baptized people in his congregation. Now, I'm not 100% sure how this whole thing was found out, but sure,
I think
whatever.
It's semantics, but yeah.
So apparently, in the let me try to find the exact wording here.
Okay.
So, because I want to just show you how ridiculous this is. So, when you're getting baptized, what you do is you have to say, I baptize you in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. That's something you have to say. It's part of the contract, I guess. But what this man had done, I don't know whether it was a slip of the tongue or what he had said was, we baptize you in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. So apparently the Catholic Church teaches that when a person baptizes, it is really Christ who is working through that person to baptize that person, the child, the baby, the man, the woman, whatever. So it doesn't recognize that a community can do it because they're not God, right? So just by saying that we're doing it, apparently null and voids all the baptisms that he's done. And
do we know how many baptisms this invalidates?
So this apparently Reverend Arango was reciting these words used incorrectly up until the 17th of June 2021, and it doesn't actually say that. Well, that's kind of annoying. That's kind of it doesn't actually say in the story.
that's probably too many to count. That's probably too many to
but
count.
It does
How many years was it?
Yeah, all it says is that the one-word gaffe forced officials to invalidate thousands of baptisms that are conducted over the year. Now, obviously,
who would need to know?
Okay, but how are they who is finding
this out? Let's just be realistic. Yeah, I mean, how did they do? Well, someone audited a baptism, obviously, and they're like, "Hey, you said we when you should have said I," and that makes this baptism unofficial. Like that child's going to hell. So that conversation probably went that way. But yeah, let's be realistic. Majority of those baptisms, those folks ain't going to church.
This is why.
But you are also taking away numbers of your already dwindling faith, Catholic Church. It is numbers. You want as many as you can have in your posse, and you just told thousands of people that they are no longer welcome.
But it's ridiculous. Like this again. If you are a person of faith, that's awesome. I'm super happy for you. But I still have to say that the what's the word? The whole officialness of it sometimes gets a little bit ridiculous in my mind.
The
bureaucracy. There we
bureaucracy of just loving God.
So apparently the use of the words I or we, Professor Sama said, who is a religious studies professor at Case Western Reserve University in Ohio, said if you use the wrong way, so I, blah, 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 it causes or doesn't cause the transformation that is intended. And if you say it incorrectly, the person who is intended to be baptized is not transformed. If they go along and proceed as Catholics and have other sacraments in the future, it is all based on the fallacy that they were in fact transformed. My God, it's just them
it's just
saying,
a place to spend Sunday, guys. Come on. God
I'm in the gang. Surely it's not that serious. Like,
this shouldn't be that serious. It's
now I don't know. There's no mention of any.
You're going to make people very spiteful. You're going to make people very just turned off now with this. Not even the people who were actually affected by this. Other people, like, they might say the wrong words. Why should I do that now? Why would I put my child through that? If apparently they're going to hell anyways. What's the point?
So yeah, Professor Sama, who I don't know who this guy is, he seems like an idiot. So he says different traditions, whether Catholicism, there we go, Judaism or Hinduism, all have different patterns that you need to follow to become a fully authentic Catholic, for example. These rites are passage, and you have to undergo these initiation rites in order to become a fuller human being. Like, do you get like a membership card or anything? Like, geez, like
they're really weird about it. So, Kush, fun fact. I used to go to a Catholic school once upon a time called St. Thomas More. Now, I am not a
wait. I used to go to a Catholic school called St. Thomas of Canterbury.
Fascinating. They might be the same guy. You never know.
Maybe.
I only went there for 2 years. However, 1 year for All Saints Day, they had me be St. Patrick. And we were just up on the stage or where the altar is in church, and they gave me a communion. And that is the only time I've ever received communion when I most likely should not have received that. And we'll probably pay for it in some manner down the line with my faith.
Did your skin start to smoke?
No, like it was one of those things where like I examined it for a minute. I was like, so this is what this looks like. This is what this feels like. That's what it smells like. It tastes kind of like styrofoam.
This is the body? This is his body?
This is the body? This is what I've been like. We went to mass once a week during school. So I was like, this is what I see these guys eating all the time.
What I always used to wonder was, so during that whole thing, because I used to go to these things weekly at my Roman Catholic school, is you would see that the priest or whatever hold up this wafer circle thing about yay big. For those listening, it's about, I mean, you've seen it's probably like a 3-inch round thing anyway. And then he would like break it up. Then he would break it up into his little bowl. And then all of a sudden, he'd be handing out miniature versions, and I was like, how the fuck did he do that? Like, how did he break it up so well? I was very impressed. But yeah, then so that's all bullshit. It's just, there you go. Body of Christ. But so yeah, there's obviously no mention of, because you get refunds, you have to pay, right? You don't have to pay for that. It's all free, right?
I mean, it comes out of the tithes and the donations during the thing. And,
But yeah, thousands of people to go over, start again. Otherwise, you're not getting into heaven, buddy boy. But at least they found out now. Because imagine, their face would be red if they died. And went up there, sorry, and they showed like an action replay. Oh, actually, he said we instead of I.
Oh no!
But
I've been a good Catholic. I've been a good Christian this whole time. Like, I've loved my neighbor. I've stopped prejudices. Like, we gave to charity and we helped the homeless. We even housed a guy. We housed a guy who had a terrible addiction. Yeah, but
turns out he got baptized correctly. He's in here already.
Your man said the words wrong.
What a joker. Oh well. So there you go. If you are going to get baptized, make sure you read the script first. Otherwise, you might have to redo it again.
But I was 9 months old.
Read the contract. Now, go away to the burning sea of hell, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. I still don't know the wording. I don't think it's important.
Just quit. Just move on.
Anyway, peace and love. Be nice to everyone. Anyway, it's now time for everybody's favorite segment of the show. It's time for Kush'S movie review. It's that time where Kush goes see a movie, then comes back, talks about it on Waffle Box. Kush'S movie review. What have we got this week, Kush?
We saw the video game adaptation of Uncharted. Sony Pictures, Tom Holland, who is still in the world's biggest movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. That is still in theaters with Mark Wahlberg and Antonio Banderas and a young lady named Sophia Ali, who I had not seen prior to this, but she's okay too. Uncharted. It's a video game movie. But is it the best video game movie? I think people are reading too much into this. Just let them be. What works in a video game, what works in a comic book, what worked in a TV show from the 80s is just going to look different on the big screen. And are you familiar with the game Uncharted, Mike?
Only that I'm aware that it's a thing.
That's fair. Fair enough. I've only played Uncharted 4. I think I went into a little bit about this last week's episode, but I have a PS4. It came with Uncharted 4. That's not the reason why I bought it, but I played it, and while I never finished it, I went, this is a very pretty movie that I get to interact with. Because there's almost next to no consequences. Like there's no... You walk your character one direction, and then it tells you, hey, hit the circle button, stupid. And so you hit the circle button, and then he jumps. And that's it. It's kind of like Dragon's Lair from back in the 80s.
I remember that game.
A little more advanced.
I should hope so. The jumping mechanism in that game was horrible.
I agree.
And when it, I'm thinking of as well another similar game, Prince of Persia. Do you remember like the original OG Prince of Persia?
I do.
Where for some reason, every time you made a jump, he would make the
he would always hang on the cliff like.
And then like as soon as you land something, it would start rattling and fall. Oh, so annoying, that game.
Yeah. That was definitely not a good video game movie, unfortunately. They could have done so much awesome with that and somehow dropped the ball there. But we're not talking about Prince of Persia, Fish. We're talking about Uncharted. And as I predicted last week, fans of the video game franchise are probably going to hate this, but guys like me are probably gonna be like, "Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, that's fun." I don't know if you saw the trailer, but there's a big scene where Tom Holland is hanging off like a cargo chain, where like just pallets of equipment and gear and food and whatever are just dangling out of a plane, and he has to hop from one to the other. That's apparently a thing that happened in one of the games. It also takes place at the very beginning of the movie, so I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything. But god damn it, that was entertaining.
And it's in the trailer.
Yeah, it's in the trailer. There's a lot of fun sequences in this film. As far as the narrative goes, like I always say, less is more. I wish they had cut 10 or 15 minutes out of this movie, and this ends up turning into like a modern day pirate movie, but much like the Pirates of the Caribbean films, like it's just double cross after double cross after double cross. It's just like, guys, just we don't need this. Just stop it. You just burning time. You're just stretching the movie out longer than it needs to be. Knock that shit off. Otherwise, I found it entertaining. As far as, let's just take the video game part out of it, it's a fine Indiana Jones clone. I think the Goonies is better as far as like treasure hunt movies go, but this is fine. Do you need to see it in the theater? Probably not. You can wait for Netflix or whatever Sony's equivalent of a streaming service is, but yeah, it's fine. If anything, I think Antonio Banderas is underused. Mark Wahlberg,
man,
he's fine. I didn't care. But Tom Holland, yeah, he's spunky. It's interesting to see him not be a loser like he is as Peter Parker in Spider-Man. It's fine. Go see it. Will it make? It apparently made more money than they were expecting it to make over the weekend. So I think you're going to see Uncharted for a while here.
Well, Tom Holland, wherever he goes, he makes money now.
He does nowadays.
Have you seen? Sure. Did you see the story about him training for this movie in a British bar?
No.
So I guess
training to be the bartender. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he went to a British bar and just on a spare moment kind of say, "Hey, I'm doing this for a movie. Can I get behind the bar and like help out, blah, blah, blah." And he apparently enjoyed it so much, he ended up like working the entire shift behind the bar.
Nice.
Until obviously words started getting around. Hang on a minute. That's Tom Holland behind the bar. And people started just coming in. And then the owner of said bar was alerted to this, and he came out and basically threw him out.
Why? You idiot.
And like he tried to go back to the bar, I think the next day or something, and they wouldn't let him in. But then obviously, because of all of that word going around, that bar became extremely busy and popular for the next month, and then apparently they forgave him. So, actually, even though you shouldn't have done that, you've made us a lot of money. So
you, Tom Holland.
We forgive you.
You fucking douchebags. Ugh. He that's a hilarious story, because when his character isn't stealing tombs or raiding tombs, he's a bartender in New York City. So and he does all the Tom Cruise cocktail bullshit, where he's like
shit,
flipping bottles and doing the lighting shit on fire. Like I believe he had more problems learning how to bartend than he did parkour, and there's a lot of parkour in this goddamn movie.
Ooh.
So the guy who directed it, Ruben Fleischer, you know him, his work from Zombieland 1 and 2. He also did the first Venom. So this guy makes an entertaining movie. While I didn't see Venom, he makes an entertaining movie. Those movies make money. Sony loves him. And expect an Uncharted 2. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5, but again, it's fine. Don't be attached to your video game, kids. Just enjoy the ride and have fun. And yeah.
I think at this point you have to lower your expectations, because I can't name a single video game movie that's like anyone I've got into and going, "Oh my god, they did that video game complete justice. This movie is fantastic." Like, that's never happened. So at this point, just lower your standards.
Of video games that I have played for the movie I have seen, I would say Rampage was probably the best. I mean, it delivered exactly what it promised. It's not It's not rocket science. It's kaiju's, it's monsters destroying buildings. It delivered that. The end. In fact, Rampage is like 3 or 4 different movies in one 2-hour block. But video games that I haven't played, Detective Pikachu. I still have no desire to play this game, but this movie is amazing.
That is a great movie. I will say, yeah.
I will defend that phrase great because I enjoyed the shit out of it and have watched it multiple times since.
Even I
still
would
have
say,
not seen Sonic.
I was about to mention, the Sonic movie is pretty solid movie. And I'm looking forward to the sequel.
I gotta say, when they announced Idris Elba is going to be a part of it, I went like, "You don't say." Now you have my attention. Now I'm interested in seeing this. Probably still not seeing it, but still,
you're at least closer to seeing it.
I think it's a better project with Idris Elba for sure.
Well, Uncharted, 3 out of 5. How many franchises can this one man be in? He's gonna
Tom Holland. He's on a streak right now. Yeah, he's gonna try and be in more if he can.
I mean, that's a good type of work to get because realistically, you're just doing the same thing over and over again, but earning big bucks to do it. So if you can get like 3 or 4 franchises going at the same time, my gosh.
Right now, Michelle Rodriguez is Fast and the Furious. She is a part of Avatar, and she's a part of, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. Resident Evil.
We don't talk about Resident Evil on this.
She's in like 4 out of 6 of those stupid things.
They are stupid things.
Well, yeah, but still.
I don't know why as well. I went kind of Sean Connery at the end there.
Yeah, man, you got very short.
My gosh. I'm Sean Connery.
Sometimes you have to backhand a bitch.
Jesus, Sean. Calm down. Oh, you always have to take it
par.
You have to take it par, Sean. Anyway, Uncharted. Check it out. I know you said you don't have to necessarily check it in the movie theater. Check it out when it comes out at home. But you did also mention that it's an incredibly beautiful movie. Do you think it's going to be lost a little bit on the home? Unless you got like a fucking mega 120-inch TV.
It goes on many locations. Those locations probably won't look any different on my 4K TV than they did on the Regal screen. Yeah, it's fine.
All right. And fake pennies.
Yeah, again, the gimmick in the trailer where he's hanging off an airplane, that's just super exciting. Like, I was like on the edge, I was like, how did he get out of this one? And this is just the beginning. Oh my God. Guess what? He found a way, but still, it's fucked up. But still.
Found a way. All right.
So, teasing next week, hopefully we get to see the Foo Fighters horror comedy Studio 666.
That does.
So I'm hoping to give you guys that next week. It's on limited screens. TBD, to be determined.
That looks horrific, but it looks amazing at the same time. It looks
hilarious.
Yeah, it looks like, that's what I mean. It looks terribly amazing. Definitely you want to check that out as well. All right, let's wrap up the stories for this evening with tonight's feel-good story of the week.
I do enjoy these stories.
Yeah, and this one actually, I always start off with the feel-good story, and then my jadedness comes in, and I just start making fun of it and picking holes in it. But no, this one is wholesome, and there's nothing to it. So I'm going to try to go backwards in the story to kind of give a little bit of a cliffhanger. So there was a family that went to the dog pound because they wanted to rescue some dogs. Give a dog.
But who rescued Hugh like fish?
Yes. Anyway, so they picked up this dog, which was a certain breed, which isn't mentioned. Jesus, why are they not mentioned? That's a big part of the story. Come on.
That's kind of important detail, guys.
Whoever's writing these stories. Anyway, it's a dog. Brilliant. Anyway, so they picked up this dog and her twin sister from the pound when they were 6 months old. And then they held on to these dogs for about 6 months. And then one day they went to the store and for 20 minutes and came back, and one of the dogs was gone. Dog's missing. Dog stolen.
That happens.
My gosh.
Dogs are getting stolen nowadays.
Now, here's the moral of the story is make sure you get your dog microchipped because 12 long years went by and a dog was discovered had been dumped from a vehicle in a rural property near Stockton in California.
Wild.
So the police picks it up, got the microchip scanned. The dog had been missing for so long that the dog had actually been declared dead by the microchip company in 2015. But luckily, the
dog was still chipped, though.
Dog was still chipped. So the sheriff dug deeper, got the information. Luckily, the phone number connected to the microchip still worked. Ring, 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 ring. Hey, is this your dog? Oh my God, I haven't seen a dog in 12 years. And they were reunited. 12 long years after the dog was stolen from their home. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes, but if the
dog
dog was chipped, why wasn't it found within a week? Like, is it only like a proximity, circumference, range bullshit?
Maybe, I don't know. But this is good. I'm liking this. It's like a role reversal.
Well,
you're the one that's trying to shit on a nice story this week, not me.
I'm definitely not trying to shit on the story, but like I when this story was presented to us, I just skimmed it. I want you to have the most honest reaction on the show, this Waffle Box podcast. And I didn't realize that the dog had been chipped. I thought this was a PSA that you were giving people, like, get your dog chipped, people. You never know when like, this is just the best case scenario. It took 12 years, but the dog got home. But if the dog was already chipped, like, what happened? Was the chip just faulty?
Maybe it was a radius thing. I don't know. Maybe now I'm going to have to look into microchips. Or maybe this wasn't a very good microchip.
You have a dog. Again, that's what I'm saying. Like, was it a faulty microchip?
Maybe it was just like was it a microchip, or did they just like stuff their business card in their collar? And luckily it would still be sitting there. Maybe this story's lying. They're just like, did you get microchipped? Yes. Sure.
Yes. Ish. We rubbed a microchip on him.
If by microchip you mean we wrote our phone number with a Sharpie on the dog? Sure.
We crumbled some Pringles and sprinkled it on the dog, and those became microchips, right?
Oh, that's a hell of a way to end the story. But yeah, anyway, now we've kind of delved into the shoddiness of microchips for dogs. But still, lovely story. 12 years reunited. They're looking forward to getting her home, getting her healthy, and to live out the rest of her life, finally, in a family home. Didn't mention anything about the twin sister, so hopefully the twin sister's still alive. Otherwise, that's kind of a Debbie Downer of the story. But there you go. Beautiful stuff. All right, let's talk about some plugs. Obviously, don't forget, if you do want to support Waffle Box, you can do it in many, many forms. Obviously, if you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give the video a little thumbs up. Apparently, that helps with the algorithm. Tell your friends, tell your family, share the video, share the podcast, however you're listening to it. If you are listening to the audio version, make sure you tell your friends and family. And if you want to be really gracious and support the podcast monetarily, of course, you don't have to, but if you do wish to, we do appreciate it. Obviously, we want to make sure you get something out of it. Go to wafflemerch.com, get yourself a nice t-shirt or a mug or whatever it might be. You could do that. But that's not where it stops, because we are coming to you with even more content in the coming week. Before we get into the Waffle Box extra content, what have the good folks got to look forward to this week on the Microdose feed, Kush'S?
Well, you were a guest a couple of weeks ago on the Ramblin' Ronnie podcast, and this week, Ramblin' Ronnie is going to be a guest on the Microdose. We're going to talk about how she started the project. We're going to talk about true crime series and what might come up on her show in the future. So that's going to be a good time. Otherwise, check out the Kick-Ass Movie podcast next week. And we got a brand new episode for you guys, season 2. It's episode 8. You're going to love it. Me, Kush Hayes, director, master, Len Kabazinski. It's going to be a good time.
And yes, don't forget, the Rambling Ronnie podcast. Check that out. I was on there for about a week or so ago. Talking about sleepaway
Fun
camp. Fun stuff. Check that out. Coming up this weekend, this Saturday dropping is another bonus show as we dropping little breadcrumbs of bonus shows to see what we can and can't do. It's going to be the very premiere episode of That Mike Fish Show with special guest Beck Becker from the St. Louis Chat Show podcast. He also does voiceover work. This guy has got an amazing voice. It will put you to sleep in a good way. Check that out. It's going to be on the main Waffle Box feed, whether you listen to audio or Spotify, podcast, Google Podcast, all that good stuff. That Mike Fish Show.
It's so nice. They named him twice.
Indeed. I even get into that, his name, at the beginning of the show. Also, the video version will be available on the YouTube channel as well. Right. That wraps up another episode of Waffle Box. Make sure you do follow us on all our socials at Waffle Box Pod, whether you're on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I am Mr. Mike Fish. He is Kush_Hayes. But until next week, don't forget to take care of yourselves and each other.